other direct action the other group is considering is without consequence.
Is there anyone that advises them?
There appears to be a collective.
It sounds like they do want the Earth to evolve, like it's something that is supposed to happen.
Oh yes, that's clear.
Does this mean they want them to evolve positively and away from negativity?
I'm not sure they see it that way. I think they see it as evolving to be aware of their free will and free choice. So I guess the one group that wants direct action is a little impatient. That's my interpretation. They think it's taking too long, and that a few of their actions can be quickened. But again, the group that is more the observer or the less direct influence respect the level of consciousness here. And there's a bit of a catch-22, and it's as if both consciousness isn't aware of free will, and it doesn't know that it has a choice, and it's difficult for it to move forward. So how do we introduce that there's the possibility of free will without affecting their free will? In other words, if they do not naturally evolve to the state of awareness where they recognize free will, then that could be potentially like it never happened. So it has to happen within their collective consciousness through evolution, or as the one group suggests, it could be more rapid by influence. And influence could simply be by introduction to new ideas and new concepts and belief systems. It doesn't have to be by physical contact or interaction necessarily.
Then, they can introduce new ideas into the collective consciousness of the human race.
Yes, but it's already there. It's how to get people to look at it, how to get people to be aware of it. Right now, people are just looking at their feet. They can't see anything but their toes, yet all of the universe's knowledge and gifts are right there. They don't seem to know. They don't have any of the tools at a conscious level of how to get that information.
They probably don't even know it exists.
Right. There's another aspect of intervention or whatever, and that is how to use that ability. It's a skill. Well, it in itself is just an idea. How do you get them to stretch their awareness?
Do they have any idea how this can be accomplished?
There are also different ideas within that group. The boldest one would be for them to make their presence known, but that seems like it would create a huge positive and negative event. The people that are ready would easily recognize it, and the people that are not ready would be easily susceptible to their fear and uncertainty and doubt, and would run in the opposite direction. So it would be extremely beneficial to some, but it could be potentially disastrous. Not disastrous in a global sense, but not helpful. That's one of the items that are on the table.
What are some of the others?
To contact a select few people that are ready, and to work with them to come up with an idea.
Should this be physical contact?
Yes.
In a way that wouldn't frighten the person.
Right. That's the crux of the matter. That is one of the things that is on the table. It's a really sticky situation. You introduce yourself to them, then suggest potentials, and then they get a few people to solidify the potential. Let it become very intense. Then you know you would not be infringing upon free will, and then the plan would be to make that a larger intent to introduce more people to the idea. So maybe that's the healing person that creates the ideas that spread it around, so that it instills a human consciousness-based evolution.
That way, it's not going against free will.
Correct.
The trick is to get the other people to listen.
That would be the human being's responsibility or task. So the thing would be to get momentum inertia, to get critical mass, and the critical mass can adjust the seeds of collective consciousness.
Is it on their agenda to contact governments?
No, there are many other ideas there. That doesn't seem to be a predominant one. It would be individuals that are ready.
Are there any other ideas on the table?
The last one we talked about seems to be the most possible, probable idea or solution, if it goes in that direction. So the other direction is the most passive direction, where they see that it would unfold naturally at some point in time, which would take longer.
Well, if they contact these people, what type of information are they going to give them or share with them?
I think it's based on the individual. There is no ability to share minds, so they know what the people they are going to contact are interested in, or interested seems to be the best word, know what their inclination is. And they would work with that person based on what that individual's niche or individual interests are. To start with, there would be an individual message to each person.
Would the person be able to accept having contact with something that is definitely not human?
The people that they contact wouldn't have a problem, because they can see the mind of the people.
Over the last many years, people have been seeing the craft, the ships in the air, and more people are talking about having contact.
I think this is a different group. This is a group that has never been seen. This is a different group altogether. This is a group that has not intervened, has not interfered. They've always been the observers. They have always simply been present here. They are going to be more direct in the future. Right now, they are not doing anything.
I was thinking how difficult their mission has been, to be an observer all this time and suddenly change.
Right.
But they think this could be the best idea.
A faction does, yes.
How would they appear to people?
However, that person would best accept them. The beings that I'm looking at have multiple simultaneous potentials. They can be in whatever dimension they require, so they can be in a physical form shape, or they can be ether. So they could influence multiple levels of reality concurrently, so they would appear in the most acceptable form.
What is their normal appearance?
That's the interesting thing. It's parallel. They can be etheric or they can simply be physical, and they can be both at the same time.
So they do not have a normal physical form.
Yes. No. I guess you could say the lower frequency form is a projection of their higher consciousness, but somehow it's totally symbiotic.
You are seeing these beings wearing suits to adapt to the environment. So I thought they had some kind of physical form inside of that.
That was the interesting thing. Maybe that was just for the contacts, because yes, they do have a physical form. I'm not exactly sure of what the frequency of the form is, but that seems to be flexible as well. They were on Earth to have this meeting, which may be only for my benefit.
Does this explain why you're here on Earth?
So why am I here? I saw the parallel between their intention and my intention. I appear to be a little more in it. It's to be here, to be alive, to hold frequency, to hold the good, and to allow it to be accessible, whether the people know it's there or not. And it goes back to my frustrations about whether to intervene or interfere or whether to have a more direct influence.
And what do you think your job is?
My job in this state of awareness or my job in human form?
Whichever. You can talk about both.
It looks like it's to individually observe. I feel it's as above as below. It would be to observe. It's difficult to be a dispassionate observer. I think part of the challenge is to be the observer and only the observer with a particular perspective. At some level, whatever transpires is appropriate. And I feel like there is a right and a wrong, or a good and a bad, or a light and a dark, or a better influence or a negative influence. And I choose to act there or make a difference or intervene or interfere. When I'm operating at that level, then am I the cure or part of the problem? And again, that would take another level of looking at it, so I guess I'm not sure how to play.
What part are you supposed to play in the game?
I see if I influence, then I'm only influencing from the state of awareness that I'm holding in that particular place. But if I do nothing and only observe, that seems like a more natural state for me. That's why I feel alone there.
This was certainly a puzzle, and although we had received some information, I knew there was more that we would not be able to find out this way. So I had him drift away from the scene, and I called forth the SC. I asked why Randy was shown that scene when he could have been shown anything, especially when we were intending to find past lives.
It was the most logical analogy.
Why did you want Randy to see it?
To put it into perspective, the reason for being in physical form.
Explain it to him. That's one of the things he wanted to know.
There are multiple levels of infolded and folded reality experiencing this broader creation, and I don't see a task per se in a physical form for him at this time. He has free will and doesn't know what to do with it. That's part of the way forward aspect, because what is the next level once you recognize you have free will? What do you do with it? And he's on the leading edge of that. When he figures that out, then it will be additive to the evolution of consciousness.
Can you give him any hints to figure it out?
That's why we were laughing, because that's the toil of us ever trying the intervention versus interference versus evolution.
Randy had taken many metaphysical classes and had explored many different avenues and modalities. The SC did not think that was important.
The simplest is just to express his free will. All he has to do is express it. That's the only thing left. There is no more knowledge, no more insight that is required. There is simply to get to a point of self-awareness. So I guess that is the self-exploration, trying to figure out what to do with the free will. Now that he understands free will and believes in free will and sees free will, now he needs to set his intention of how to express that free will. This is going to happen on the planet. And everybody, once they understand free will, are going to run into the same situation. So, we have free will. We recognize it now. We can choose this, we can choose that, but again, they need to set intention in order to manifest reality. So simply knowing that they have the ability to choose free will or to choose right or wrong, left to right, up and down, has to be manifested in order to have the experience, to have the knowledge, to have the wisdom to make the evolution. If we are to see the concept of an idea, it wouldn't be evolution at its freest form.
So he has to find it out for himself.
That's part of the discovery process, yes.
Is he concluding his cycles?
Yes, correct.
So, if he has completed all his studies, this should be the